Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. So in the attempt at mastering the new torsion field and the antacorana vertical elevation of all chakras, as each torsion field represent a higher dimension. There are 12 nested torsion field, the first one being created around a version of me that is etheric and existing on top of me. So if my physical body is chakra 1 to 7, my fourth dimensional body is chakra 8 to 15. And since my consciousness is actually not unified to accept the identity of my fourth dimensional body existing on top of me, the Guardian Alliance of Light steps in as a collective, the first guardian, as a collective of 12 beings who have achieved neutrality in the fourth dimension. And what they do is that they generously and lovingly project on top of my fourth dimensional chakra system and body a torsion field of light and protection and neutrality. And when they project it, they remind the part of me that I'm not aware of that exists in that dimension to become neutral. They entrain it into neutrality. Now, I too, since I am in 3D, the Guardian do not make us neutral in 3D. That's our responsibility. Okay? In fact, the Guardian have no actual physical influence on us on Earth. It's when we become neutral and we accept their neutrality that they, through us, are able to ground neutrality on Earth. If you look around you, you will realize there are more acrimonies, battle, and fighting than anything else. It's because their energy is a rarity in the 3D plane, and it is through us accepting the neutrality from the higher realm and anchoring it on Earth that they will manifest it. It is through us. Thus, we are also Guardian Alliance of Light members in training. And as we resolve, and again, neutrality is not a disconnect to the injustices of the world, but it is rather its accelerated conflict resolution. So as these conflicts and these things are being resolved, you will be able to very quickly become more and more neutral. I had sent email, and I'm going to add something to the torsion field today. What I want you to do is that when we do the torsion field at part of the meditation, I want you, first of all, you have to realize that you cannot do one breath. Whereas before we would do, first Guardian comes in, and then you exhale outside of your head, and then you exhale completely, torsion field of light and protection and neutrality is created. It's done. Second Guardian comes in, rotating the opposite way, and it goes in, down onto the core of the earth, and it gets created. So you do it with one breath. You can't do this with one breath because we are slowing everything down, and we are witnessing the process of the ascension, the first torsion field, that's the counter-rotating torsion field, ascending through all of the chakras for the various bodies. And at each point, it creates a torsion field, okay, of neutrality. So in order for us to, meaning me and the fragments of myself that's in 4D, 5D, 6D, that may be doing other things, in order for us to align to the same purpose and the same goal, I'm going to ask you to silently repeat in your heart to yourself as the meditation, I'm guiding you to the meditation and the connection, to repeat, I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. And as you do this, it will begin to realign your consciousness into that connection. Okay? That there is the parts of you, you will find, whereas before when you're doing it, there might be moments where you think you pass out, you blank out, you don't remember where you are, or there are moments where you feel like you're distracted, you're thinking about something else. If you're being distracted in the ninth dimension, what the ninth dimension self chakra system is being called, it's because that part of you that's in the ninth dimension is doing something else. And by repeating to yourself over and over again this decree, I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light, you're bringing all these parts of yourself into one focus, one purpose, and one mission. What we're doing is that we're all trying to be neutral, and we're accepting the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. And it should be easier for you to achieve. And also your breath, you will realize that you cannot take one breath. Therefore, because, first Guardian, you might be able to do one breath. But by the time you stack up, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, you can't. It will take you at least 2 to 3 breaths per torsion field. So breathe when you need to, because you will not be able to do it with one breath. And then also silently repeat, I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light, like you're saying a mantra. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. And as you do this, it's going to create an ease where all of your pieces will begin to understand the purpose and the mission. And they will begin to align add their light to your light, add their strength to your strength. And it will become a unified piece of architecture. Any questions or any comments about this? Okay. The thing I want to talk a little bit more about as well, we'll do the meditation at the end, but before we get into this, I want to talk a little bit about the kind of morality, the ethics, and the wisdom that we need to have as we're getting aligned to tremendous power. This training is going to connect you to very powerful and potent energies. You're going to be connected to some, because when you are aligned and all these pieces are aligning, any thought and command that you put in there, like for example, I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light, these thoughts immediately manifest. And you will know when all of it is aligned because you will immediately feel a tremendous amount of rest. That's the best way to describe it. I was sharing this morning in a council meeting that in the Rosicrucian order, they used to call this peace profound. It's a sense of no external thought, no external distraction, just complete and utter rest. In all dimension of time and space, just rest. And when that happens, you are connected now to an alignment to higher power that in Tibetan Buddhism they call dharmata. And dharmata is actually what they call the essence of being, or the blessed field, or the white space, whichever term you want to use. And it's a place where pure consciousness exists without any attachments. So that's why you have to become neutral to everything. You have to become neutral to whatever drama exists in your life at this moment. You have to become neutral to all kinds of things that are in your life now that may be distracting and taking you out of alignment. And when that happens, you're at rest. And since we're doing this every day for a year now, for the next year, it will allow us to achieve within a year that alignment and that rest. And at that point, when we are so aligned and we're at rest, we will be able to ground in a troubled world, in a world that's in transition, that may be in chaos, still in chaos at that point. We'll be able to ground into our circle of influence the energy of neutrality that we are holding from the guardian eyes of light. The same way the guardian in 4D, 5D, 6D are projecting as an act of generosity, love, and mercy toward us, the neutrality that we know, that they know. Once we have become neutral in all of our bodies and we have realign our consciousness to become consciously immortal, we will be able to do the same to other people or situations that are around us, friends, family members, by just having the wisdom to understand that I don't need to battle anything or anyone. I just need to basically project toward any acrimony the neutrality that I know. Meaning what? To be neutral is to be zero charge. Meaning you don't have any stake into being right, retaliating, battling, and telling people whatever they're saying about you, it doesn't touch you. Because the only way for you, the only reason why you would emotionally or physically retaliate, it's if you felt the need to play ping pong with them. You don't need to play ping pong with anybody emotionally or energetically. If you're neutral and somebody project whatever they're projecting, even darkness and evil and black magic toward you, if you're neutral, it's not going to touch you because you're zero charge. You become like smoke. It will pass right through you. And we talked about this the last time. It's extremely important that we understand this, that neutrality is the key to unraveling so many issues personal to us and also global and planetary issues. By understanding that I don't need to change you, God can reach you and change you. Unless you ask me, I can entrain you and train you into the neutrality that I know by sharing with you energetically the frequency and the vibration of neutrality as I understand it. And because I can share this, it is my great hope that over time of me sharing it, you will realize that you can make a different choice. And I'm going to be honest with you, no one can really change anyone. And I'm saying this as a teacher. I know this to be the fact. The only way that I can influence you and change you is by demonstrate to you that when I become the change that I'm talking about, when I embody the neutrality and you can feel the neutrality through me, then over time you entrain into the neutrality. We learn, children, any development psychologist will tell you this, children learn by watching. You telling them, don't do this, or that, this is not what they're watching. They're watching your behavior. If your words and your action match, they will mirror and mimic exactly what they see. But if on the other hand, it's dissonant, it's not connected, they will create all kinds of mixed messages for them, and they will know how to encroach and take over and do other things. So we need to be very aware of this and understand that we have a kind of ethical and moral code and a sense of responsibility that we're getting this great gift, this great act of generosity and love, and these very powerful beings that are all part of the body of Melchizedek at every dimension are projecting into us an incredible gift. And how we apply this gift in the 3D by projecting it into someone else by, and there are multiple ways of us projecting. We talked about the fact that one of the ways in which I can project this into somebody, let's say a friend or somebody's in crisis, and they call me, here, I'm having this issue right now, I'm overexcited about this, and could you do a prayer for me? And this is a situation that has happened multiple times. They're on the phone with me, and I'm like, okay, stay quiet for a moment, give me 5 minutes. And they remain quiet, and then and typically speaking, I would prefer to have enough time to create a torsion field around me first. And then I would project, I would think about, they're on the phone with me. I have a sense of where they are energetically around me in the torsion field. And then I then ask the guardian to come in and create a torsion field around them. And I witness the first guardian creating the first torsion field, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. And I'm guarantee you, before all 12 of them are created, I can hear them sighing of relief as if they are exhaling, because something around them just shifted energetically. There are other times where I do it differently. This is how I broadcast. This is how I send my love and my energy, or I begin to act like a Melchizedek or a member of the Guardian Alliance of Light on Earth. Okay? So, person called asking for help. And the reason sometimes I don't do the torsion field, it's because around me first, it's because when I check in, because when I do my meditation in the morning or sometime in the afternoon as well, I do the torsion field twice a day. It remains, it's almost like there's an afterglow. It remains for a very long time. And because it remains, I don't need to keep repeating it before every healing, because I'm already in 0 point energy. And so sometime when somebody calls me as emergency like this, the torsion field is already around me. And I just tap into it. And when I tap into it, then I can think of where they are, and I tell them, remain quiet, don't say anything. And I simply take deep breath, and as I'm breathing, I ask the guardian to come in, first guardian. And I can feel the counter-rotating axis moving through them, and then second guardian, third guardian, and 12 of them gets created. At that moment, even before it's get done, they're already feeling better. There is an amelioration in their condition. I have interceded on their behalf. And if the matter is not resolved, then I take them into source. I let the guardian lift them and take them into the blessed field, and I release them into the blessed field. I keep saying all the time, the only thing that I'm smart at doing is listening, and the fact that I'm a trained conductor. I'm able to take individuals, condition, situation into the blessed field, and I push them. When I get to that last stop, which is the blessed field, I push them on the station and let the light interact with them. I don't do anything except for that. I don't heal, I don't remove, I don't extract demon, I don't extract negative energy, I don't shift anything, I don't do anything of that sort. I let the blessed field take care of it. God knows what you need. I am the bridge to create a connection to God, because most people are disempowered. And this is what the Guardian Alliance of Light Technology is doing for me and for all of us, is that I'm able to become that bridge. I take you into the field and I release you. I release your situation. I release the disempowerment. And I let that energy figure out how to resolve everything. It's not me that's doing it. And therefore, it is like blinking my eyelid. The only thing I have to watch is that I'm remaining in neutrality all the time. Because if while I'm doing this, I begin to judge the person I'm doing this on their behalf, I begin to say, why aren't they getting it? This has happened to me a few times. Why is this person not getting it? I've been advising them about doing this. They're stubborn. They don't want to listen. The moment I begin to judge them, I'm disconnected. I'm not in neutrality anymore. And their issue become my issue. I begin to share their karma. And all of a sudden, I can tell you the 2 times it happened to me, it was not cute. One instance, I began to cough incessantly. I had to stop the session. It was a hands-on healing thing. I had to go wash my face. I was coughing incessantly. I picked up her problem. So we have to be very careful that, again, compared to all the time I've done healing, having 2 instances is minor. But the idea is that if I'm 0 point, my clients or the person on whose behalf I'm interceding, their problem cannot attach to me. Because in 0, the attachment is a charged energy. And that charged energy is looking for an opposite frequency of charge energy, like -5, +5, to connect. Okay? Abuser that's trying to, of a certain charge, looking for a victim that has the same pet peeve and the same entry, and they're locked. If I'm 0 charge, none of that will touch me. In fact, science talks about neutrinos in a quantum field at a quantum level. That the particle of neutrino reacts with nothing else because they are 0 charge. So that's what we attempted to do with our consciousness, is to become completely empty and become a witness to not only the people that we're interceding for. In other words, looking at somebody and realizing that I am being a witness to them, meaning that I'm not judging them in any way. I'm not condemning them. I don't think I'm better than them and not worse than them. I am just interceding by bringing them into light, bringing them into the blessed field, and let the field of neutrality resolve, accelerated conflict resolution happen energetically in the throne room of God. And more important, before I can actually do this in their behalf, I have to become a witness to myself. Meaning what? I have to accept myself instead of the self-talk of judgment that I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not doing enough spiritual practice. I am so far behind than everybody else in the class. People are better than me. I'm so far behind, I will never make it. All of the negative self-talk, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa, it's my fault, I'm the one all of that has to stop. And you have to love yourself. You have to accept yourself even though you're broken. You have to acknowledge the fact you're imperfect. I'm imperfect. I'm broken. I'm a work in progress, God. I know I have a hump in my back and I'm Quasimodo. I know all of this. But I'm going to love myself nonetheless. Incomplete. Broken. And I'm going to witness myself the way you're witnessing me. I'm going to witness myself and look at myself with love and with compassion, instead of putting all of these measures and all these bars. If you had done this, you would have been better. It's because you're not doing this that this is happening to you. It's because of this, and judging ourselves, constantly judging us. All of us do this, including me. First of all, I'm an overachiever. I do this to myself all the time. And we need to do the opposite of this, which is to begin to say to ourselves, no, I'm not doing this. I am actually going to accept the fact that I am incomplete, I am broken, but I am going to have such self-love that I'm going to be a witness to my own self. And I'm going to accept myself. I'm going to accept myself. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to accept myself. Broken, incomplete, and imperfect. And the moment that happens and love begins to flow, you can project that same degree of acceptance and love, that same degree of compassion, that same degree of mercy, that same degree of kindness And forgiveness, you can apply it to others. You cannot share what you don't possess. You cannot give what you don't have. You have to first create that within yourself. This is where the us becoming neutral to ourselves comes in. This is us doing the query and the self-examination and the self-talk. It's to realize no matter how incomplete I am, no matter how broken, no matter how what's going on, I'm going to accept and love myself the way I am. I'm going to realize that I'm a work in progress, and as incomplete as I am, I'm going to give myself mercy. And when you are able to do this, you can do the same for others. So that when you're witnessing them, there is not a subconscious judgment in the back that's going, this person should have done this, that person should have done that. Why are they doing this? Why are you so backward? Why aren't you? And whatever in your life that's going on right now where you're doing this, it's because to a degree, the people outside of you that seem insane that you're judging, that same thing exists in you. Because everyone is a mirror. Everyone in our life is a mirror. Every situation is a mirror. It's an opportunity to realize they may not exist exactly the same way, but there is a part of what they are doing, of the behavior that exists in you. Imperfect, incomplete. And that's the karma. That's the reason for the karma. That's the reason for the situation to present itself. It's the universe saying, look, Pierre, inside of you. That situation exists in you. You're still incomplete in there. Figure out how to heal that part, and the external will cease to exist. Any questions, any comments? It is a difficult task because it's asking us to be so honest with ourselves, to look at ourselves in a completely different way as we become neutral to ourselves and we become to achieve. And what that neutrality and that kind of a self-acceptance does is that it provides us with wisdom. Because when the torsion field gets created and we're aligned and we're in that kind of neutrality with ourselves, everything aligns perfectly. And at that moment, we're connected with celestial and cosmic powers. Meaning at that moment, when you're that honest and that where you're surrendering your brokenness to God and saying, I am imperfect, I am incomplete, but I'm a work in progress. I'm trying, God. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. Forgive me for whatever shortcoming that may exist in me. When we see friends and family members that are behaving in ways that are unbecoming, a lot of times it's an opportunity for us to realize that it's by the grace of God that you have an insight that's deeper than them. Therefore, do not judge them for their shortcoming, but rather send them mercy and forgiveness, because no one learns exactly the same way as anyone else. Meaning what? Meaning just because you're fast, it doesn't mean that everyone in the universe is as fast as you are. By the grace of God, you receive a blessing and you're able to perceive certain things, but it doesn't mean that they're going to get it on the same speed. And sometimes it might be multiple in my lifetime before they get it. And that being the case, you're still going to have to figure out a way to love them without having acrimony or being upset about their shortcoming. I have two friends, weather permitting. I go on the waterfront and I hang out with them. One is very conservative, the other one is liberal. And they are often fighting with each other because their perception of world politics and what's going on is very different. And I come, basically, I don't want to do politics. I just want to hang out with them and have their company. And my female friend was the liberal. She's always going around upset. Like when I say something to my conservative friend, this man, older gentleman, 76 years old, and that I respect and actually love a lot. He's a kind and loving Italian gentleman, really nice. Whatever his views are, no matter how backward he is, there are certain things he does. For example, the way he look at young girls that are walking on the waterfront is, um, 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 I don't appreciate it because it a lot of times these girls could be younger than his own daughter. Okay, and some of the comments I don't appreciate. He's catcalling them. Okay, but I still love him. I still appreciate him. But my female friend gets really upset. Like when I say something, I make a comment or a statement, because I usually sit quiet and they sit one to the left, one to the right, and they're arguing, and I'm in the middle. And then my female friend is like, "Did you hear what Pierre said? Did you hear what he said? Did you listen? Did you hear? Did you hear?" And he's like, "Yeah, I heard, but I disagree. And she's trying to bring me in, and I refuse to get to bite." And in the end, when I finally come in, one time I had to say to her, I said, "Look, I don't need you to agree with me. I want you all to make your own damn mind. You ask me for an opinion because I never volunteer. They usually are the one asking me questions. What do you think, Pierre? You ask me for an opinion, I'm going to tell you what I think." And a lot of time, because I can go very deep, I have to ask them. Like he had asked me a question. I said, "How far do you want me to go down the rabbit hole?" Because I can go really deep. Okay. And a lot of time I go so deep that he walks away almost wobbling. Like he said, "You messed me up. You messed me up. You went so deep. I have to think about all of this." And I told both of them, they were both sitting next to me. I said, it doesn't matter what he thinks and how he proceeds. I don't need to change his mind. I love him unconditionally the way he is. Whether he believes or not believe in what I believe in, it's not important. I still love him. I care for him very deeply. I would do anything for him. If he needs to go to somebody to accompany him to the doctor, anything he needs, I will do it. And the same is true for you. I don't need to change your mind. I don't need to alter you, fix you, repair you, or do anything. I am in acceptance that we're all human and we're all wobbling along, trying to polish ourselves by friction against each other. And because I'm tired of the friction, I choose neutrality. I choose to liberate myself from these attachments, and I choose to also offer you by modeling this neutrality and making you realize that there is a different choice. Be at peace with yourself, and it is, later on when he had left, my female friend apologized, and she kept on saying, "Well, it's just that I've been always like this my whole life. I'm always running around trying to help people, blah, blah." But this is not helping. When you're trying to change somebody's mind because you think you have the answer, you're not helping. People have the right to come to their own conclusion and arrive at their own solution set by themselves and their connection to God individually. The same way God was able to reach me, it's the same way that God can reach you and can reach him. It's not up to me to accelerate this process. The only thing I can do is that I can still send love and compassion to all of you and realize no matter what you think of me, no matter how you perceive me. I had said something to him as well. when he was saying, no, I don't want, I said, listen, you don't have to tell me. She's the one that's after you to convince you. The way I am, if you tell me no, by the time you finish the no, I am halfway down the block walking away. I don't need for you to agree with me. I'm too grown and I have too many other things that are important to me that I need to do. I don't need you to acquiesce and to fall in line with my conviction and my perception. How boring the world would be if everybody were to agree with me. I want to be able to grow and expand. I want you to have a different opinion. I want an exchange of ideas and concepts. That way we can all evolve. We can all grow. It's by the dynamic flow of exchange of ideas that evolution occurs. So when I can do this, I am now a witness. But I can only do this because I have done the work internally to accept the fact that I'm imperfect. You see, the judgment that we have all the time of ourselves and of other people, it's because we have an idea of what true spirituality is, or true moral and ethical standing is. And we put that idea on the pedestal. And we think that our behavior should be at that standard. And the whole world should follow that standard. When in fact, it's the opposite. True spiritual growth comes from the manure that we're standing in, from the depth that we're standing in. When you realize that and you acknowledge, this is what Kuan Yin did when she was in Fragrance Island. She realized that she was broken. She had suffered all this abuse from her father, who tried to kill her multiple times. And then she accepted and she went deep in to realize what was my karma with my dad. And when she realized the karma and she acknowledged, my God, this is what the karma is. And in the past life, this is what I did to this man, who's my father now. And she realized it's by the grace of God and the mercy of God that she's not like him, or even worse. She started first by forgiving herself and accepting herself, having mercy on herself. So you start with your humanity. If you don't accept your humanity, you cannot become divine. If you keep having this high standard, I have to be Christ-like, I have to be Buddha-like, and that's all you're holding, when in fact, you should start by saying, I am human. I am imperfect. Am I acknowledging the fact that I'm imperfect? And I am going to do the best that I can moving forward to move toward the Buddha state, to move toward the God state, to move toward ascension, to move toward enlightenment. But I am starting as me as a human, as imperfect. And I'm going to love myself with that, even with that imperfection. I'm going to accept myself with the idiosyncrasies. I get angry sometimes, or I eat too many sweets, or whatever it is that you're doing. I'm jealous sometimes. I get upset because of this, that, or the other. I am, I can give a little bit of a militant at times for the cause that are dear to my heart. Whatever it is that's your pet peeve, acknowledging it. And forgive yourself for not being the Buddha yet, for not being perfect yet. And ask God, be humble, ask God for mercy. And as you're doing this to yourself, and be merciful to every part of your body, your arm, your leg. If anything is hurting, you be merciful to it. Don't be hard on yourself because your body is not doing, or you're having a physical ailment or disease, and your body is not responding the way you would want it to respond, and you're badgering yourself for not being in that perfect state. Have mercy. Maybe that's the reason why you're not in that state yet. It's because you're being too harsh. Acknowledge the fact that it's incomplete. It's not there. I'm sorry. I apologize. Have mercy on me. And then from that point, build up upon it. Because I guarantee you, if you can accept yourself, particularly because we had so many negative self talk that we overheard people say about us as young kids, if you can change that inner dialogue where there is acceptance and there is self-love and there is forgiveness, self-forgiveness, it will change a whole bunch of things for you. Then your healing really begins. And when the Guardian Alliance of Light comes in and they align themselves in neutrality all the way back up, then you're going to touch real power. And remember, I've said this before, wisdom is power used rightly. And because now you've witnessed yourself as you actually are, broken, incomplete, imperfect, and you still love and accept yourself, you can now accept and witness the rest of the world for who and what they are. Incomplete, broken, having issues that are envy, jealousy, rage, whatever they may be. You can now forgive them. You can now have mercy for them and accepting them. Now, you're going to still have boundaries, particularly if they're encroaching on you and your sovereignty. But in your heart, you're going to still radiate mercy, forgiveness, acceptance, and love. You can truly become neutral to them. You can truly radiate toward them. The peace, the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance on Light completely through and through. Any questions, any comments? I know that I have said a lot, and a lot of you are unpacking emotionally a lot of the things that I've just said, because it demands from us a kind of honesty about being a witness to ourselves first. And the moment that happens, you become an attractor for accelerated conflict resolution. Because the moment you are now, and this is what happened to Kuan Yin, she went so deep and did this so well that she began, because what she was doing is she didn't go in Fragrance Island to try to be the Bodhisattva, to try to solve the problem and the pain and the suffering of the world. She went there to listen. The only reason she went there was to resolve her own inner conflict, to listen to her own brokenness, to listen, truly listen to why she's so broken inside and she's so incomplete and she feels abused, because although she was physically abused multiple times, multiple assassination attempts by her dad, but she still was asking herself, why is this happening to me? The victim mentality. And when she went in and so deeply and she began to go into such a deep state, she realized very quickly that because she's listening so deeply, that the only way out is for her to not only acknowledge the karma and the past abuse that she may have done to her dad, but more importantly as well is the fact that it's by her having a mercy on herself and forgive herself for having in the past done whatever she did to her dad. Anyone that's in your life right now that you have acrimony with, that you need to figure out what the karma is between you and them. What was your 50%? What did you do in your past that you don't remember right now that caused the person right now to perceive you as somebody that they have to attack? What did you do in the past? And when you begin to discover your responsibility, this is why I was saying to be a Melchizedek is to, Dr. Stone, when I became a branch leader for him, said to me, Pierre, with great power comes great responsibility. To be a Melchizedek is to be accountable. You have to take responsibility. And you have to take responsibility for yourself first. Stop thinking that you have to do all of the hard work. The real hard work is to forgive yourself, forgive your body, forgive your past action, forgive. And as you achieve this forgiveness, it begins to untie all kinds of things that were blocked. And the healing that you need, the energetic that you need, everything begins to unravel itself. Any questions, any comments? We need to as you're doing this and you begin to entrain other people, another way in which that I'm going to share with you, aside from the connection to the torsion field and seeing them in your mind where they are and create the torsion field around them and taking them into the station where the ultimate sense of rest and being unburdened exists. And instead of calling it the blessed field, you can say the ultimate place of rest and being unburdened. In the charismatic movement of the Catholic Church, they call this the grace of the Holy Spirit. When the Holy Spirit comes in and removes all burden. You can take them into that place and let the Holy Spirit take care of it. The other way I can do it, sometimes the situation is so rapidly moving that somebody comes to me, sometimes they're in my presence, and they're saying to me, Pierre, could you help me out? I have this thing in my back, or whatever it is that they're having. And all I do silently, sometimes I touch them in the part of their body where the problem is, and I take a very deep breath, and I connect to the guardian alliance of light and the peace and the serenity that I know in my heart, the alignment that I have to the ultimate rest. And in whatever way that exists in me, I figured out how to get to it. One of the ways I'm reminding myself to do this is that I repeat for myself multiple times throughout the day, even when I'm not doing the torsion field, I accept the neutrality of the guardian alliance of light. And when I do this and I repeat it, let's say on my walk, I keep repeating it over and over again, all of a sudden I can feel the torsion field all created all around me without having to do 30 minutes of meditation. And when I'm in that state, I can transmit it. I can project my antakarana, my column, my alignment that goes from where I am in 3D all the way to the ceiling of the heaven. Because when you get to the 15th dimension, you're all the way at the roof of dimensional reality. And after that, you're in source. You're at the ceiling of the heaven, at the highest point. So I can project all of it. And the way I do this, a simple, simple sentence. As I'm thinking of them or sometimes touching them, it could be somebody that's far away from me energetically or in a different state. I think of, again, I sit in my torsion field. I think of them energetically. Let's say Jane Doe, where is she located? I find her, okay. And I take a deep breath. I connect to the ultimate rest, me being a non-judgmental witness, thinking only about the liberation that I know. And I say to myself, may the peace and the serenity and liberation that I know. And I think of those words, peace, serenity, neutrality, liberation, whatever it is that I want to project. Okay? May the peace, the neutrality, and the liberation that I know, and then I add to it, pass on to you. And when I say pass on, I see energetically my antakarana moving energetically to where they are. If I'm touching them, it moves from my core into my hand and it goes right into them. It's not going to remain there permanently, but temporarily, I'm shifting my alignment and my understanding of neutrality onto them. May the peace, the serenity, the neutrality that I know pass on to you. And I say pass on to you, it shifts from me and it moves right onto them. And when that happens, the person is typically, if they're in front of you, they're going, oh my God, everything is unknotted. They're like this, shifted. If they were in pain, the pain dissipates immediately. What is it that I'm just describing? What I'm describing, it's what the guardian alliance of light, when they come in either counterclockwise or clockwise, are doing to you and I. That's what they're doing. In their higher dimension, they're shifting their antakarana on top of us. The counter-rotating axis or the clockwise or rotating axis, it's actually their antakarana. That, again, to the same process. The peace, the serenity, and the neutrality that I know pass on to you. And it just shifts and goes right on top of you. It's full circle around. We are learning the skill set. It's us being generous and passing it forward. We have to do the same thing that they are doing for us. We have to do it for others. Now, if you have people in your life, a lot of my students are empath, and I can't be in a room with this person because of that. I can be, if this is what's happening to you and it's happening to you all the time, I understand the world is crazy and it's very easy for us to go out of alignment and to absorb other people's energy. But truly, if you're neutral, this is why now I'm doing the torsion field twice a day. Because I'm in the middle of New York City, it's the most polarized place that you could be. And therefore, I need to be as neutral as possible. And so I spend a lot of my time trying to stay in that state because I don't want to be polarized and empath other people's stuff. And I'm also not exposing myself to news media. I'm not watching any news since after the election, since before the election. I'm not watching any news. I watch other things. I watch GOAT. I'm watching certain Hollywood stuff. I'm watching movies. I don't watch any of that stuff. I see the headlines on YouTube. I see the thumbnails, but I'm not watching anything because I don't want to be polarized and be out of alignment and out of neutrality and start getting attachment and start empathing stuff. So I allow myself to be disconnected to all of this. So when you do this, you're able to full circle around, share with others the same ease, the same generosity that the Guardian are giving you, because most people on the planet will not do the hard work that we're doing to connect to the Guardian. We know that. They are too spiritually lazy. They don't have the discipline, the kind of like desire and intoxication to be one with God and Melchizedek. They don't have it. And it's okay. Again, no judgment. It's okay. We need to be kind and realize as they are being disempowered, we can share with them. Again, with permission. They need to act. You want to make sure that you have their permission, with their permission, that you can do this for them. That's the easiest way I know how to transmit that access, that entrepreneur. May the peace, the serenity, the neutrality that I know pass on to you. And as I say pass on to you, it shifts from me and move into wherever I see the disempowered energy or the disempowered circumstances. And I let it remain there. It's there temporarily to help entrain whomever or whatever the situation is into an alignment. And I'm not doing the entrainment. I'm letting the energy do it by itself. I don't need to resolve. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to push energy. I don't need to extract this and move that. And I don't need to do any hard work. It should feel like you're exhaling. If it feels hard, like you're doing hard work, you're doing it wrong. It should be just inhaling and feel like you're exhaling. Any questions, any comment about these two techniques to entrain? Anything you don't understand?
Yeah, just one question. I have at times not enough time to do the full new version. Is there a time when the 2-minute, 3-minute torsion field is still appropriate?
Yeah, you can do it if you can do it if you can achieve to do the new version every other day or every third day or something like that. It still work, and you can do the old version.
For instance, when you go into your car, you say you always stop for 2 or 3 minutes before you leave.
Yes, I do the fast version. Yes, the original version. Just
Yeah.
breath, just one breath, one torsion field. Second breath, third breath. Yes, I do that.
Yes. So there are still occasions when that.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay, thank you.
The reason I'm doing the deeper version is that I've noticed this personally for me. Maybe it's not true for you, but personally for me, I am finding that I have a lot of problem with that the same alignment that I used to do with the short version, I am not getting to the same place anymore. This is for me. I don't know for you how it's going to feel, but I'm telling you personally, for me, I'm not getting to the same place because I've been faced with all kinds of challenges that have created all kinds of doubt. What I'm finding right now that's creating a quick connection for me, it's me repeating over and over again, I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light, like I'm reciting a mantra.
I have in the past always just expressed gratitude to the Guardian Alliance of Light. Would that do the same?
Yes, because the acceptance is gratitude. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, and it will create a shortcut for you to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Anyone else? Any questions, any comments? I have to say to you that the opportunities that presented to us is really very powerful, because we can create all kinds of shift and change for ourselves and for other people. And again, but the work of us going internal, I'm going to reemphasize this again, and forgiving ourselves for being broken and imperfect is the foundation. If you've done this work, great for you, then you can begin to build the other structures on top of it that will allow you to achieve ascension and enlightenment. If you have not done it and you bypass it and you still trying to, why am I not, I have all these shortcomings. I don't have, I'm not perfect. I'm doing this wrong. I'm not just like God. I'm not like Buddha. Why is it that I can't do what Pierre is doing or what this other person is doing? But you don't compare yourself to anyone. Okay? Compare yourself to yourself. Start with the fact that I am imperfect and I am a work in progress. But the way I am, I'm going to love myself. Don't expect the love to come from someone else. God and myself are going to love me unconditionally. And the moment that happens, that love is there and that acceptance is there, it's going to change a whole bunch of stuff for you. It's going to trigger all kinds of internal healing, true healing. And then you're going to become a witness to yourself with no judgment. I've spoken about the fact that in Marvel Comics, there was a character called the Watcher that was a cosmic being or cosmic race that were there to watch a gigantic cosmic event. Yet when they showed up, you knew something cosmic and something important was going to happen, but also by their showing up and being a witness, because of their non-judgment and acceptance of everything, they also generated healing. Because to witness somebody, to truly witness somebody without judgment, to meaning that you are seeing them broken and incomplete in all their imperfection, and you're loving them nonetheless, the moment you do this, God through you is loving them. And the moment you do this, their burden is reduced by half. And that's another way for us to entrain. When you begin, and this is why witnessing yourself and not judging yourself and loving yourself is so healing, because it will reduce your burden by half. Because when you really witness somebody, what you're really doing is that you're listening to them. And because you're really listening with every part of your being and consciousness, that automatically reduces the burden by half for yourself and for other people. Any questions, any comments?
Yes, Pierre, please. I have a realization, perhaps is the word, uh, forgiving others or accepting others, perhaps is the better word, uh, in their weaknesses, in their imperfections, is so much easier than accepting and forgiving myself.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get past that?
It's because we are harsher on ourselves.
And,
We're
and
horrible on ourselves.
that I understand, but how do you change that?
By actually listening to self. And when I do this, I don't play any music. I don't play meditation music. I may light a candle and burn some incense, and I sit in silent meditation with myself. And as I sit there, I listen to part of my body that may be twitching, that may have uncomfortability, part of myself that may have all kinds of things that it may be doing, thoughts, internal system, fear that I may have at the moment, and what those fears are and where they're coming from. And and the thing I keep repeating to myself, what am I not seeing? What am I not hearing? What am I not accepting?
That's a good one.
What am I blinding myself to as I sit and listen to myself? And eventually something popped that I was completely unaware of. And it's typically something big. It doesn't happen in one meditation, by the way. It's a process. What am I not seeing? What am I not perceiving? What am I blinding myself to? And you sit quietly and all of a sudden pop. And when you're listening to yourself like this way, the first thing that happens is that you're going to listen to everything in the new room. So if you're in an apartment building, you're going to listen to the noise or the sirens or your neighbors, the neighbor upstairs walking, the neighbor downstairs, the delivery guy coming in the hallway. And after a while, that will go in the background, and there's going to be a very specific white noise or pitch, like a hum in the background. And then beyond that point, you go even deeper. And as you continue to listen, then you're going to go so deep that you're going to then begin to ask the query. What am I not seeing? What am I blinding myself to? And then after each question, you stay quiet and allow because as your energy doesn't lie. And as you do this query, something is going to come up that you were unaware of. And when it shows up, a part of you that was broken, a part of you that is judging, a part of you that was accusing, a part of you that particularly if you're an overachiever, we tend to be very harsh with ourselves, like myself. We tend to be very harsh with ourselves. And then you will realize, my God, I have to accept myself the way I am. That part, that accusation is false. It's not correct. I forgive myself for this. Or the accusation was done under false premises. Or the reason I'm behaving in this manner is because it was a survival mechanism that happened in early childhood. And I'm still stuck in that survival mechanism. I need to accept the fact that this was done to me, and that was my reaction in trying to survive. And I'm forgiving everyone around in the circumstance, and I'm forgiving myself for reacting in this manner. And then what I eventually do also is ask God, what is the proper, now that I'm grown, what is the proper way, the proper access and the proper reaction to this need? Because if you have a survival mechanism that or something you used to do, there is an emotional need that this survival mechanism is trying to accommodate. So what is the emotional need that I have that this brokenness and my trauma related to that brokenness is trying to heal? And whatever that need is, you need to identify, and then now you ask God, give me a ascended way to now moving forward, fulfill that need. I can let go of this old thing, but give me an ascended way. It's some deep work. Does that make any sense, Janice?
It does. And again, it's one of the layers coming off from this onion of many, many layers. It seems like the deeper you go, the more you find. And that's where I am.
Janice, this is beautiful. I'm going to tell you why. You have to stop worrying when you think that you're there. Okay? It's beautiful. Because sometimes some of the stuff I discover is so deep and so extraordinary. I'm like, there couldn't be anything beyond that. Because I am floored. My jaw drops and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been doing this all my life. For God's sake, oh my God, who knew, right? And
It,
sure enough, as I keep going on and on and on, 2 months later, here was another insight. And even a deeper one. And I'm like, oh my God.
So when you sit with yourself and query these questions,
Yes.
what kind of practice do you do right before? Do you do the torsion fields and
You
then
could
you
do
sit?
you could do a torsion field before you sit, or sometime if I don't have the time to do the full torsion field, I would repeat to myself all the time, I release all attachments, fears, and control.
Mhm.
And second sentence, and I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. And I repeat this over and over again. And as I breathe, I do this. And then at a certain point, I feel I am in the surrender completely. Or like Janice was saying, if you can give gratitude to the guardian lines of light and you get torsion field, what I'm finding is a good shortcut for me right now is that I accept the neutrality of the guardian lines of light.
Mhm.
And as I repeat this over and over again, all of a sudden I am in a place where I feel I'm at rest. And then I can go into this listening thing.
Mhm.
I usually light a candle and I burn an incense.
Got it.
Okay. But I don't know music because you're
Mhm.
listening. You have to really be listening
Yeah.
because the music will distract you for your own inner voice.
Mhm.
my
Thank you.
experience has been um, really remarkable in following your guidance. For instance, in finding my 50% of whatever uh, a relationship or a situation or a belief is based on that's erroneous, and finding the roots of it, not only in this lifetime, but in past lifetimes, that once aligned and you sit with that, querying constantly, uh, I'm fed the information. I thought it would be impossible to finally identify, in this lifetime at least, all of my 50% over all these years. But miraculously, they appear to me. It feels as though I'm being fed, and
Yeah.
that that is gratifying. However, there's always another layer, another level, and
Yeah.
it seems as though this search, this query, this uh, goal, the man of La Mancha kind of chasing after windmills, is always the carrot in front of the donkey.
Well, I wouldn't use that analogy because the carrot in front of the donkey thing for me is not the way I would see it. For me, doing this and having deeper insight, because the thing about it is that you were blinded to all of this. So you're better than you were before, right?
Yes.
How incredibly fortunate you are to have had. 1 year, I counted there were 15 breakthroughs.
Mhm.
15, because I was putting them in my diary. 15 major breakthroughs. I grew, I don't know how many initiation level I expanded to, but I grew tremendously in that year.
That's a good perspective.
Do you understand
Now,
what I'm saying?
it's
If you
not what's left, but where you've come
how
from.
far you travel,
Right. I got it.
do you understand? It's not it's not about an event. It's about the whole journey, the whole process. Look how far I traveled in that 1 year. I'm looking at myself and I'm like, I don't recognize myself anymore in a good way, in an incredibly powerful good way.
It is good to reflect and see the progress, see the distance, and give yourself credit for that.
Yes, yes, and give God credit, because none of these things would in a million years of meditation, I would have never gotten to them.
Absolutely.
You know, and I have to be honest, is that for me, I have, when I witness all of this and I'm beginning to realize how far how far I am, I'm not thinking about the road ahead. I am being grateful for the distance I've already traveled. So put your effort toward the gratitude toward what you already achieved.
And the gratitude will then open the door to more, won't it?
Exactly. Exactly. Because that's one of the most powerful frequencies that exists in the universe.
Gratitude and love.
Yes, 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 absolutely. I'm so grateful. I'm like, oh my God, I you know, behavior, for example, ancestral behavior, things that my whole family has been doing. I have to find the root cause for all of these things and why. And I'm in awe. I'm like, my God, I would have never found this in any other way. How incredible that, again, like you said, my spirit, my inner voice, the God within me fed me this information. And when you are being fed internally like this, there is a veracity of the knowledge and the understanding that is unlike anything, unlike somebody telling you that that's what it is about. Because it comes from your core. It comes from your God.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Yeah.
And it puts wind behind your sail. All right, let's take a 5-minute break and then we'll do our closing meditation. And remember, when we're doing the meditation, keep repeating to yourself, I accept the neutrality of the guardian eyes of light. 5 minutes. Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Let your mind and your heart sync with each other. And notice what you notice. And the guardian alliance of light approach you, offering to gift you their shields of light and protection and a band of neutrality. If you're ready to accept this gift at this time, answer affirmatively. And let the energy of the guardian begin in the core of the earth, counter-rotating, traveling to the bottom of your feet, moving through you, exiting outside of your head, and traveling through your four-dimensional chakra system and body, and creating all around you the torsion field of neutrality. I accept the neutrality of the guardian alliance of light. The axis above your head extends and it attracts now the energy of the second guardian coming in at the top of your fifth dimensional chakra system, passing through it as it rotates clockwise, descending through your fourth dimensional chakra system, touching the top of your head, moving through your core, exiting at the bottom of your feet, moving to the bottom of your fourth dimensional body, at the bottom of the fifth dimensional body, and creating all around you a torsion field of neutrality. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the third guardian coming from the core of the earth, passing through the bottom of the sixth dimensional body, counter-rotating, moving to the bottom of the fifth dimensional body, the fourth, passing through the bottom of my feet, moving through my central axis, exiting at the top of my head, going to the bottom, to the top of the fourth dimensional body, to the top of the fifth dimensional body. Now passing through my sixth dimensional chakra system and exiting out and creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. The axis at the top of my head extends and it attracts now the energy of the fourth guardian, cascading down from source, dropping in at the top of my seventh dimensional chakra system, descending down, moving now into my sixth dimensional chakra system, the fifth, the fourth, dropping into the top of my head, passing through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going to the bottom of my fourth dimensional body, the bottom of my fifth dimensional body, the bottom of my sixth dimensional body, the bottom of my seventh dimensional body, and creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. I accept the torsion field of the Guardian Alliance of Light. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends, and it attracts now the energy of the fifth guardian coming in from the core of the earth, counter-rotating, passing to the bottom of my eight-dimensional body, my seventh, my sixth, my fifth, my fourth, passing through the bottom of my feet, moving to my central axis, exiting outside of my head, and going now to the top of my fourth dimensional body, my fifth dimensional body, my sixth dimensional body, my seventh dimensional body, my eighth dimensional body, and creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. The axis above my head extends and it attracts now the energy of the sixth guardian, cascading down from source, traveling to the top of my ninth dimensional chakra system, passing through it, moving now into my eighth dimensional chakra system, my seventh, my sixth, my fifth, my fourth, and dropping into the top of my head, traveling down my central core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going to the bottom of my fourth dimensional body, my fifth, my sixth, my seventh, my eighth, my ninth, and creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the seventh guardian coming in from the core of the earth, counter-rotating, moving upward to the bottom of my 10th dimensional body, moving to my ninth, eighth, seventh, sixth, fifth, fourth, the bottom of my feet, moving through my core, exiting outside of my head, and going into the top of my fourth dimensional body, my fifth, my sixth, my 7th, my 8th, my 9th, my 10th, and creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. The axis above my head extends and it attracts now the energy of the 8th Guardian, cascading down from source, rotating clockwise, and moving into the top of my 11th chakra system, dimensional chakra system, cascading down the 10th, the 9th, the 8th, the 7th, the 6th, the 5th, the 4th, dropping into the top of my head, moving through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the below my feet into the bottom of my 4th dimensional body, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th, creating all around me the torsion field of light and neutrality. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. The axis below my feet extends, and it attracts now the energy of the Night Guardian, coming in from the core of the earth, counter-rotating, moving through the bottom of my 12th dimensional body, rising as it passes through my 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th, 7, 6, 5, 4th, and moving through the bottom of my feet as it ascends upward to my core, exiting outside of my head. Moving now to the top of my 4th dimensional body, the top of my 5th, 6th, 7, 8, 9, 10th, 11, 12, and creating all around me a torsion field of light and neutrality. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. The axis above my head extends and it attracts now the energy of the 10th guardian coming in from source, rotating clockwise, descending into the top of my 13th dimensional body, moving to the top of my 12th, 11th, 10th, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, dropping into the top of my head, passing through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet and moving to the bottom of my 4th dimensional body, my 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9, 10th, 11, 12, 13, and creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. The axis below my feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the 11th Guardian coming in from the core of the earth, moving through the bottom of my 14th dimensional body, rising now to the 13th dimensional body, the bottom of the 12th, the bottom of the 11th, 10th, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, moving through the bottom of my feet, passing through me, exiting outside of my head, moving through the top of the 4th dimension, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, and creating all around me a torsion field of light and neutrality. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. The axis at the top of my head extends and it attracts now the energy of the 12th Guardian cascading down from source and moving to the top of my 15 dimensional chakra system, passing through the top of my 14th dimensional chakra system, the 13th, the 12th, the 11th, the 10th, the 9th, the 8th, the 7th, the 6th, the 5th, the 4th, passing through the top of my head, moving through my central axis, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the bottom of my fourth dimensional body, my fifth, my sixth, my seventh, my eighth, my ninth, my 10th, my 11th, my 12th, my 13th, and my 15th. And creating all around me a torsion field of neutrality. I accept the neutrality of the Guardian Alliance of Light. Observe the 12 counter-rotating axes that are spinning in your core. I stand in spiritual rectitude and verticality. As the rod and the Antakarana of Melchizedek. From the root of Amen and into the ceiling of the heavens, I am the light divine, I am love, I am will, I am power, I am wisdom, I am fixed, designed. Hosanna into the highest, Hosanna into the highest, Hosanna into the highest. Take a very deep and slow breath, and when you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Pierre.
You're welcome. I just realized that my handheld recorder did not work. So I will, for those of you who want this meditation, I will send you the full recording for the class in audio form version, and you're going to have to move the cursor forward to the meditation itself.
Here, halfway through, I saw in my mind's eye, it was not in a, it wasn't close up, but it wasn't that far away, but, you know, in a distance. There were, looked like first a small group of people, like in lines of threes, and with, it was just white. You know, they had on, the clothes were white, the face is white, and around white, and it was just like golden, you know, hues. And then as they walked, you know, they were walking not slow but not fast, you know, just walking at a, I guess, a comfortable pace. And this group just kept growing.
Mm.
It was beautiful.
You told me their face is white as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think everything, I didn't see, well,
Yeah,
everything looked white.
Okay, I know they are. They are one of the highest collective of the guardian lights. All that. Those are the beings that showed up to me upstate. They are called the Larian Whites. You're very fortunate. They don't show up like this.
Wow, but it was midway through the meditation.
Yeah, they are called the Larian Whites. They are one of the first elder races created in the Lyra galaxy.
Well, it was just beautiful.
Yeah. Wow, beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I want to thank all of you for listening to me tonight and for joining us. I appreciate you so deeply. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and thank you for supporting us on Patreon. I will speak to you next week. I love you so much, family. Love you so much. Thank you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
I love you.